Hi there, my name is PolishLynx. This is Everlasting Summer. We are going to continue. Skip the text. And now we will go to collect some strawberries. Let's go this time with Lena. Why not? We can skip that as well. I prefer Slavia, but well, this is for the good of getting the right ending with Ulyana, I think. Thanks for the girl's help and stuff like that. Now, Clubhouse. We gonna get that vodka from you guys again. And we had to run. No. Oh, we had a floor from them. It was floor. Right. And from our lovely, beautiful nurse, we gonna take beer, if I remember correctly. And I think I do. And from library. Or was it flour from the library and sugar from the guys? Stay on guard. Going for a hike! Do nothing, just stay seated. Talking, go to... Alright, try to find Slavia. We've been there. Remain seated. That's later, maybe. Go to Ulyana. I didn't think that about Ulyana that evening at all. That thing with the cake. Like it didn't even happen. Though I remembered well her resentful, disappointed face. Maybe some other situation I would never have decided to go to her, but now a fine reason to leave this place and end this stupid hike has appeared. Recalling that Alta Priedna told me to be prepared for new tasks, I decided not to ask for her permission, and after choosing a proper moment I disappeared in the woods. Night fell on the camp. I mentally thanked the camp leader for not researching the land too well, since this meant civilization was only a few hundred meters away. Another walk through the night forest was not in my plans. Soon I came to the square and hesitated. Won't it look silly? What would I tell Ulyana? Moreover, why would I go to see her in the first place? My head was so heavy and full that there was no room in it for the development of any ideas. If I would compare my brain at its prime to a broad highway full of spinning thoughts overtaking each other and causing giant chaotic crashes, then now it's nothing but a forgotten tiny path in a distant desolate forest which is only used in times of absolute necessity. So it's better not to think about anything and just act. But where should I go? Maybe to her cabin? And what if she's not there? All of a sudden, something knocked me down and I fell to the asphalt. It's a good thing I had time to stretch out my arms, otherwise I would have broken my nose. Gotcha! I quickly got up from the ground and saw Ulyana standing before me. What are you doing? I couldn't stop myself from shouting despite my best efforts. You shouldn't be stargazing! She answered viciously. What if I had smashed my nose, or had broken my arm? I said more calmly. Well, neither of those happened. Look, why do you always mock me? I already regret my decision to try and tease her loneliness. Was today's punishment not enough for you? Can you even draw simple conclusions? It's entirely your fault. The smile instantly disappeared from Ulyana's face. What exactly is my fault? Everything! You mean I am to blame all this time? Yeah! She crossed her hands in front of her chest and turned away. Great. I suddenly wanted to get away from this place as fast as possible. But it was because of you I came here. What? I guess you are quite bored, given that everybody is hiking and you are alone here. I don't care, she yelled cheerfully. Well, if things are that way, what do you want to do? What do you mean? Well, if you came here because of me. Such a thought hadn't occurred to me. Although I don't really know what I came here for. After such a greeting, I no longer want to do anything. Then it's up to me to choose, said Ulyana cheerfully and started to think. I stared at her for some time, but then I stared at her for some time, but then couldn't stand it. Listen, if you are again planning to... I know! Let's scare the others. We'll dress up as ghosts, for example. It's going to be so fun. I didn't find this funny in a way. Enough of that already. I began tiredly, but broke off. Maybe that's not such a bad idea. After all, by the time she thinks it over and gathers all she needs, Organiprim and the pioneers will already be back. If I came here because of Ulyana, then I need to play along. Perhaps you're right. What? She was looking at me with her eyes wide open. Are you going to agree just like that? Well, what's so wrong about that? And furthermore, if you insist. She studies me attentively for several seconds and then rattled off. Excellent! Then we need some bed sheets. We want to look like real ghosts, don't we? Probably. You go get them! Ulyana announced imperiously. Where do you think am I going to get them? Take them from your cabin, obviously. It wasn't that obvious to me. So you don't want to... She instantly made a gloomy face. Okay. I recalled the fact that there were spare seats of bed linen in Organiprim's wardrobe, so maybe there was nothing to worry about. We approached the camp leader's cabin and I said to Ulyana, "Wait for me here." "Sir, yes sir!" She rattled off and saluted me. It seemed Ulyana was entirely immersed in the game. I quickly found 2 clean white bedsheets. It's a shame that they are going to get smashed. Here, take it. I handed one of the bedsheets to her. It's too large for me, Ulyana said after twirling it in her hands. No wonder, considering her height. Give it to me. I folded the bedsheet in half and gave it back to her. It's much better now. Follow me. She put the white cloth over her head and ran into the forest. Wait! I threw myself after her. Just a few minutes later we were near the pioneers' campfire, hiding behind the trees. Now it was clear that the trick, harmless at first, was taking an unpleasant twist. For some reason, I was sure from the start that the hike would end before Ulyana took connections, and now we are standing 10 meters away from the pioneers, dressed in bedsheets. We didn't look frightening at all, rather we looked comical. Get ready, on my command! Wait! Actually, I was joking when I agreed to all this. Think again, it won't do any good. You will get yourself put under house arrest until the end of the shift. And so will I. No retreat, no surrender. Are you ready? On the count of 3. I started scrolling through all the possible outcomes in my head feverishly. There weren't many of them. First one. Me and Ulyana ran out from behind the trees and started the pioneers laughing, resulting in me getting a considerable scolding from the camp leader and possibly something even worse. And Ulyana is sentenced to the highest measure of punishment feasible under the laws of the pioneer camp. Second one. I stay here and observe with the others how Ulyana runs around and glides in a bedsheet. She is sentenced to the highest measure like in the first option and I stay in relative safety. Third one. I do everything possible to prevent her from committing this act of immoral vandalism and no one suffers but her self-esteem. It all could have gone so well, but either those thoughts took more than 3 seconds or Ulyana shortened the count, so I hadn't managed to pull myself together in time when she sprang into the glade, screaming inhumanly, inhumanly. As expected, all the pioneers laughed loudly, someone even fell from the log he was sitting on and started rolling on the ground. I tried to save the day and yelled as loud as possible so Ulyana would hear me, but not the others. "Fool! Stop it! Come here!" I don't know whether it was my persuasion that worked or Ulyana understood that her performance had failed, but she ran in my direction quickly and, without pausing, hid herself in the forest. I didn't hesitate to follow her. Such a final left a tiny chance that she won't be punished again. It's good that I didn't join in on that tragicomical act. Now I need to find Ulyana. It turned out to be not that hard, as she hadn't managed to get far. Ulyana was sitting on a tree stump, crying. I stood still, hesitating. Of course, such an outcome was to be expected, but now I had absolutely no idea of what to do or how to comfort her. And besides, I'd gone back to the camp intentionally and I had agreed to participate in that show. But it just got worse. As well as that, I was tired unto death. At that moment I wish it would all just cease to exist. I just want to close my eyes and appear elsewhere. Preferably in a quiet and peaceful place. But the sight of the sobbing Ulyana obliged me to take action. I walked up to her and sat down on the ground. "Well, what were you expecting anyway?" I began philosophically. It was sure to end up this way. "You're to blame for everything, you!" Ulyana shouted in tears. "So, what would have changed if I had sprung out with you back there? We both would have been laughed at, that's all." "You always act this way, always!" Her sobbing was becoming louder and louder, and then she suddenly rushed at me and started pounding on my chest with her fists. The hits were not hard. It was more likely an attempt to take out the despair that had gripped Ulyana than a real wish to beat me up. "Calm down already," I said firmly. She stopped crying for a second and hugged me. "Maybe nothing would have changed, but it would have been more comfortable for me if we went together." I didn't know what to say, so I just patted her on the head. "Can I stay like this for a bit longer?" "Yes." At that time she didn't seem like a dangerously explosive nuclear reactor in the form of a little girl, but just like a little sister of mine who'd messed things up. Now that you said that, my thoughts are... Is she your sister in the real world or something? Maybe? Alright. I wasn't mad at her at all. On the contrary, it seemed I too was beginning to care about the failure of the ghost play acting. It's alright, it's alright. We'll scare them properly next time. Yeah! I don't know for how much longer we sat in silence. She better not be your sister. Ulyana stopped crying and I didn't want to disturb her, as she had just calmed down. But I also had absolutely no desire to stay in the forest overnight. Hey, let's get back to the camp. I shook her shoulder gently, but there was no answer. Ulyana had fallen asleep. Again! Hey! I shook her harder. No effect. At that moment I wanted to cry. Why does this always happen to me? Why do I get caught in the foolish situations, always and everywhere? Even having suddenly appeared in a weird pioneer camp in the middle of nowhere, I don't get to become a subject in an experiment, a victim of a sick cosmic mind, or a participant in an intergalactic war on the side of a group of suicide-prone pacifists, like a regular hero of science fiction. No, instead I have to spend the night in the forest with a little girl in my arms who is muffled in a bedsheet. Next time, I'd rather have the monstrous experiments. Really? Weird. I stood up and put the sleeping Ulyana on my back. Maybe there was a way to wake her up, but firstly I didn't want to, and secondly, one more burden or one less. At that point it made no difference. It's good that she is not heavy. At the square I stopped, put Ulyana on a bench and threw myself down beside her, totally exhausted. Even a little girl is hard to carry for too long. The stars in the sky were shining brightly. Perhaps they gave... Eh, they Perhaps they give their light not only to me and this camp, but also shine on the city where I was born and where my old home is. It was as if a pain settled in my chest. I envisioned my old flat clearly, and a detestable burning started to make its way from my stomach to my throat. No, it was not wistfulness, more like a sad reminiscence. Because despite all that's happened, I felt more alive in less than 5 days here than I had for the last several years there. And now I really wasn't sure if I wanted to get back. Only one question still ate at me: how and why I ended up here. It flared up yet again in my mind. I haven't spent much time seeking answers or even just thinking about my situation lately. My thoughts were occupied with everyday, routine affairs. And now, in order to break away and be able to wish to stay here for good, I need to understand the nature of this place. It's just that even a nightingale in a golden cage has a right to know how and by whose will he got in there. And after that, to make the choice whether to stay or not. I didn't know how much longer I would have been devoted to existential thoughts, but Ulyana's loud snoring brought me back to reality. So small, but she snores so loudly. I sighed, put Ulyana on my back and headed to her cabin. I had no desire to explain everything to Alisa, so I just put the sleeping Ulyana on the porch, knocked at the door and left quickly. I approached Olga Dmitrievna's cabin with mixed feelings. On the one hand, I had done what I intended to do. I had comforted and entertained Ulyana. On the other hand, the two crumpled bedsheets in my hands looked more like rags left over from some worn-out striped jacket. I opened the door softly and went in. Semyon? Olga Dmitrievna was sitting at the desk, and it seems she had been waiting for me. Do you want to explain something for me? Well, just don't scold her again. It's my fault. Just like that, I became a hero, to my own surprise. My tongue acted faster than my thoughts. Perhaps some of my best traits, which even I wasn't aware of, have shown themselves. Humanity as opposed to common sense. Really? Having started this, I choose to stick to my decision. Well, it was me who got the bedsheets, and I was standing behind a tree back then. Behind what tree? The camp leader looked at me in astonishment. So, what did you need bedsheets for? I realized my mistake. So, you are not talking about the forest thing? Semyon, I don't understand you. I wanted to know where you disappeared to so mysteriously during the hike, but now I would be interested in listening to your bedsheet story. Idiot! But it was impossible that she and all the others hadn't seen Ulyana's performance. The pioneers laughing out loud couldn't have been only my imagination. Olga Dmitrievna, I'm serious. Didn't you see someone in a bedsheet spring out at you recently? So it was you? She gave me a close look. No, it wasn't me. Couldn't she tell just from my hair? But you're holding the bedsheet. Yes. I couldn't understand if she was playing me for a fool or she really didn't know what this was all about. Olga Dmitrievna, let's act like this conversation never happened. I'm too tired for today. Alright, go to bed. To my surprise, she readily agreed. Of course, I was astonished by such a reaction, but I decided to use the moment. I wrapped the blanket around myself and turned to face the wall. But I couldn't sleep. There were no thoughts, my head was aching, but I still couldn't manage to fall asleep. I rolled to the other side and images of the day started to flash before my eyes. And what are those images? We'll know in the next episode. Hope you enjoyed that one and see you then. Bye.